Right, everybody, welcome back to Game 2 of the finals in the 4th European Qualifier in the Alienware Awesome Cup 2. All the numbers today, I think we stack up more numbers each and every time, Oz.
Yeah, more numbers. 46 minutes, 16 seconds, 61 kills, Alienware Awesome Cup 2, Game 2, European Qualifiers 4. That's
we got
a bunch
it all.
of numbers.
Yep.
Let's go straight into Game 2 of the finals. We're going to be seeing the Three-Headed Monkeys taking on Ninjas with Attitude. Three-Headed Monkeys going to be using Penny, Raylan, and a Clunk, or Cluck, I should say, using the skin, versus the Ninjas with Attitude, utilizing the, not Koga, excuse me, the Nibs, the Genji, and the Scoop of Justice himself, Scoop! That being said, Game 2 is going to be taking place on Rivet. Is this the first time we're seeing Rivet today? I believe it is. I'm having PTSD flashbacks of Serona with the war.
Oh, God. It's just... Bob be with you. Now let's focus on the Rivet.
Let's focus on Rivet. Without further ado, give us a countdown now. Let's get into Game 2.
You got it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so once again we are waiting for those amazing first pickups so we can see where the match is going. And base abilities, as far as I can see, Genji picking up Cocoon and Piggies to DOT, as well as Scoop getting the Piggy to Boots.
DOT on Genji, very early, very deadly, and we're going to see the quick battle coming out. Kelvin taking a lot of damage right now. And we know the Scoop, the little tips and tricks that we see on Scoop on Rivet. If you're using the Rift Up, throw your hammer down. It has increased range whenever you throw the hammer.
Rift Up? The bouncer up. If Rift can launch you in the air, I am so gonna get that upgrade.
It's the best upgrade ever, launches you in air. Chris Moon cutting in a seemingly bad situation right now, but the entirety of Ninjas with Attitude going to be on him. King Richard getting a lot of damage being dealt. Kelvin has a lot of damage being dealt. The Explode going to be thwarted off by the hammer coming out from Jess right now, as Rourke is narrowly going to escape with his life along with Mr. Pow right now. And that is going to be the first push of the game coming out in favor of the Ninjas with Attitude as they progress into the top and bottom turret with a little bit of a split push.
Yeah, split pushing early on, not too much of a favorite there.
Not too much of a favorite. We always discuss focusing one turn in the beginning minutes of the game, but in a situation like that, when you have a split push, you could take advantage of it. Even though it's going to be less damage coming out on both turrets, it's going to be equal damage coming out.
It is absolutely going to be equal damage, but it's still, you know, you'd rather get the money for the one turret than get the damage in on two turrets, because money is power and power is damage. And I don't know how long I can drag this out, but you know where I'm going with it.
Time is money. Time is solar. Solar is damage, and damage is kill equal more solar. We're coming up with really bad equations again.
Yeah.
We should stop before we get ahead of ourselves. Chris Moon going to be taken out by Rourke and his Explode right there, as the entirety of 3HM have kind of retaken control mid, and actually no, they're going to be retreating back a little bit, cleaning up those droid waves coming out from the clears on Kelvin, and Jess is going to be focusing on this top lane clear right now as King Richard and Kelvin and Mr. Pow in that midsection. Kelvin looking to land something at any point in this time, but he has that DOT, and DOT is so powerful early on Genji. It becomes a little bit more mundane in the later portions of the match, but earlier on, man, Genji A is so powerful.
It is, and you know, because it applies, it has the same as I believe Nib's Fire used to have. It applies the first tick directly. That luckily now is fixed on Nibs, but for Genji it is still something, so you get a little bit extra damage every time you hit.
We're seeing this battle going on for that midsection right there, as the Ninjas with Attitude do have control of it. I really want to see what Chris Moon is going to build this game. I have a feeling it's going to be the prosthetic Dragon Wing earlier on, and proceed into his flame damage. After that, I'm really interested to what's going to happen.
I am curious as well, that's for sure.
You see Kelvin and Jess hanging out in mid right there as King Richard, Mr. Pow, and Rourke are going to be rotating at the current moment in time. And that's one huge thing on Rivet that people really underestimate, the power of preventing a rotation. If you have a push on bottom lane, if it's one person there, allow that one person to push and allow two people to remain into that midsection to prevent the rotation of the opposing team. You'll be able to get damage on that bottom turret, and vice versa for the top. Have a person guard that bumper in that midsection, and have a person guard the rotation on the platform on the bottom turrets, because you can get even more damage by preventing a rotation as opposed to allowing them to rotate and defend.
That is actually true, and one thing that's really good for that is Rift. You can really deny some good things with Rift. Especially on bottom lane, you can basically shut down the mid. You can also, if you feel like playing aggressively, you can go ahead and place it aggressively on the enemy side's glass plate right above the turret. So there's a bunch of ways you can really just deny and sort of block off. You can zone around. That is really what Ribbit is all about. You can zone around. You can set up traps. You can just so much happens in the mid jungle area. It is absolutely incredible.
And the Cocoon coming out on Mr. Power right now, but we see Rourke coming up there for the safety explode is actually going to poke Jess back after he is forced to retreat back from that explode. But one thing that I do want to point out is we're not seeing the same level of aggression coming out as we saw in Sirona, which is really interesting to say, because Sirona, we see more passive play coming out and that holding on the midsection. But I think both teams are playing very careful right now because neither team can afford to give up a map. The Three-Headed Monkeys have the momentum from the last map, and Ninjas with Attitude need to combat that right now and really need a win for themselves in Game 2.
But I think the reason, as you can see right now, Mr. Pow not picking up boots in the beginning, getting the rift damage instead, or attack speed, sorry, simply because the map is so tiny and he can use it to shut it down. I think the aggression will really get up when they get boots, however. When everyone has boots on 3HM, I think we're going to see a little spike in aggression.
And that's just due to the mobility coming out, I would assume?
Yep, exactly.
And we're actually seeing both solar bosses being picked up right now, one by Chris Moon, and one is going to be picked up by Mr. Pal, allowing that extra little chunk of solar, 20 apiece for each player.
That is quite the trade-off. If you set aside your team, say, hey, right, let's do this, 5 seconds, we can do it. Easy.
So there's 120 solar between 6 players right there in a span of a few seconds. So we see that solar coming into play as Clunk picks up his 420 no-scope bite.
Oh,
and
lovely.
Well, you know what? We're going with the Raylan montage parody at the moment.
Oh, so, yeah, the pro scopes. You got to get it right, man.
The pro scopes. All she needs is an obey hat. Give her some air horns. She'll be ready for her montage soon enough. Absolutely.
All right. So, oh man, you completely threw me off with all that proing. You completely threw me off.
He's got the 420 no scope bite, the 720 obey quick scopes coming out on Raylan.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe if we talk about the storm cloud, then maybe we could get back on track.
It's just going to be even more area of denial coming out. And as you said before, that's just one of the huge parts of Rivet, being able to deny your opponents the rotations. And that Storm Cloud is just going to allow for the extra damage in that area. Once the cocoons landed and the burst that Team Ninjas with Attitude can lay upon the cocooned enemy, that Storm Cloud is going to basically say, okay, if you want to fight in here and save your teammate, all of you are going to take more damage.
Yep. And it works really well with the cocoon. I mean, you plot the cocoon, you throw that cloud over them, and as soon as they get out, damage is instantly applying. It's just, you're taking damage from the second you can take damage, and that is, Genji was described to me once very, very accurately as a mosquito that just goes around, flies, does damage, and then sets up kills for everyone.
How does a mosquito set up kills, though?
Well, have you heard of the thing called malaria?
I have. It's a very touchy subject, and I don't think we should visit that.
Yeah, but you were talking about kills. You went there. No.
No, I can understand that exactly. He is a very annoying character to face, especially with the CC that he has with his cocoon. It just allows his teammate to collapse on you very quickly. He can deal a lot of damage with it, and he's one of these characters that can stop a fight in its tracks, retreat, cocoon something, get his health back, and just continue to assault. And that's exactly what I think Kelvin is going to build to do. He's going to build to harass, he's going to build to annoy, and he's going to build for the setups. Genji is more of a strictly support-based character. He's not a damage-based character.
Well, his damage early on is incredible. I don't think you can...
I can't refute that at all. But I'm saying once we get into the later portions of the match, I would say around the 15-minute mark, where builds are kind of set in and HP has begun to has actually maxed out on his base HP, that's when his AA just kind of becomes mundane, and that DOT really doesn't matter anymore.
No, the DOT, yeah, but the general damage, I would say, is still more than on par with lots of the Nauts. It is such a good AA he has, because it not only applies twice, you can stack them up using the bouncers, so there's just so much you can use it for.
A lot of damage being dealt right now, a huge fight going on into that midsection, as Chris Moon is going to be, just narrowly manages to escape. Jess is going to attack King Richard along with Kelvin, and Jess is going to take a huge explode right now as King Richard is looking for the kill on Jess, but Jess narrowly escapes that pulse, and the three-headed monkeys have retaken control of mid and now have their split push.
No, well, droids are on bottom, yes, but everyone else is focusing top, and like a good team should be doing. That is in no way passive-aggressively trying to imply that we should see more one-lane pushes early on.
No, but they're just favored early on for that extra solar, as you said, and basically opening up new areas of the map.
That is, you want to do it. You want to do it. I recommend 10 out of 10. 8 out of 8. Rated great.
Rated great.
Mm-hmm. So, we are seeing a full, well, that's a full Bindings build just unfolding right here. He has gotten three different upgrades, just like that, and another stage of triple banner with Scoop. We know exactly where he's going with it.
And a lot of people underestimate the Penguin Squire. The Penguin Squire at 135, getting that extra heal for 150 over 5 seconds. You're getting so much more health, and people really seem to underestimate that. And we've seen Jess kind of put the staple fold on this build, where the Penguin Square has become more and more relevant in these fights that we've been seeing, as Rourke lands a nice explode up the jump head on Jess right there. But
fireworks explode.
As I was saying, we've seen Penguin Squire utilized more and more often, as Kelvin's going to be taking a lot of damage right now, but Chris Moon there with the fire for the escape. But Rourke is actually going to be in the fray right now, along with King Richard, and a nice team fight coming out. But Mr. Pow is going to be forced to teleport back and grab some health, or just retreat back, I should say. Kelvin's going to be taking a huge pulse right there, and Chris Moon is going to start his assault on that bottom turret. And that is a situation where Jess sort of remained in that midsection and snared down King Richard as he tried to get there, allowing that extra damage coming out. Even more damage coming out for the clunk on his bite now. I believe he's up to 560.
Oh, and the steal on the solar boss is going to be successful.
And Jess is going to be taking a lot of damage right now. Kelvin's actually going to land it. And Mr. Pow and Jess is going to be hunted down by Mr. Pow right now. Mr. Pow taking a lot of damage. Chris Moon, very weak right now. Kelvin is going to be the only person able to fight for the Ninjas with Attitude.
Damn, that was a good steal. That is how you do it.
And that is actually pretty even, We've approached a mid-game point right now, and we're seeing these turrets basically even, to be quite honest. The bottom turret in favor of Ninjas with Attitude does have a little bit more health as well as the top, but that can easily be changed in one swift push from any team.
You are absolutely right. It is, of course, all dependent on a lot of things, but, you just need one push. It is, with a full team, you can take down a turret with basically anything.
And we're just seeing the top turret now being poked out by Rourke, because he has that sustain on his bite. He's going to be at 540 bite, actually, yes. Excuse me. So he'll be at a 540 bite. He'll be able to stay in lane. He'll be able to just munch on any of the creeps.
Can I go full? I know exactly what I want. I want to see the multi-hose and then just see him heal for like a more than 1,800. Just.
I think Snare Bite would be a little bit more practical.
I want the double hose. I want the multi-hose. It's so much fun though. You go in, you explode for 1,000 damage, and bam, another 1,000 damage straight ahead. It's just.
I guess if you could group them up, you're healing for 1,000 damage as well. So you're just outputting an exponential amount of damage.
It's so much fun because you go in, you use your bite with no HP, you come out with more HP than you started, and you just explode it with no safety helmet.
So basically, it takes out the freezing, and Rourke is going to pick up Jess right there.
Mean.
but Kelvin is kind of looking to secure a kill here, and he's not going to be able to make anything of it, as the three-headed monkeys are very separated, and nobody is close together enough for Chris Moon and Kelvin to pick up a kill. And we can see that this top turret now is possibly going down if Rourke can land that explode, which he does, and that is going to be the first turret down in favor of the three-headed monkeys.
Oh, they have gotten great momentum so far. It is really looking good for them, but they do have that Genji on the Ninjas with Attitude, and that's going to be able to shut down not only Clunk's Explode, but also shut down the damage potential of Raylan's Rift using the flat damage reduction on the Blessing.
Looks like Chris Moon and the entirety of the Ninjas with Attitude are going to pick up another Solar Pulse on their side, and Kelvin and Jess are going to be in that midsection looking for the kill on Mr. Pow or Rourke in that bottom section, but a nice explode actually is going to not hit, and Rourke is going to be on the retreat now as a lot of damage has been dealt on him. He's able to survive with about half a bar of HP, and Jess is going to battle it out with Mr. Pow and King Richard in that bottom lane as Chris Moon and Kelvin are retreating back. Jess is going to take a pulse from King Richard, and that Rift is just going to be a little bit too slow. But that bottom turret is now going down as Rourke runs in for the explode, picks up that bottom turret, and that's going to be the second turret down in favor of the three-headed monkeys.
Lovely. Alright,
so Salvo actually coming out on the Clunk. You know, now that we're talking about Salvo, let's take a look at the builds.
Alright, well, we have Fairly and Penny. We're seeing damage and regen. We're seeing attack speed and height, as well as regen and boots on Raylan. We're seeing the Ultra Montage Professional Bites coming out of Clunk, as well as Salvo Pack. For Scoop, we are seeing the entire Bindings build unfold with a little dash of Double Liquor Sword, as well as well, just Boots and Peggy. For Genji, we're looking at maxed AA, as well as some Lifesteal on Cocoon.
And Rourke actually anticipating the teleport there by Chris Moon is going to pick him up. But King Richard's taking a lot of damage right now. DOT may actually get her, but no! King Richard is going to be able to pick up that health pack right there. That's one situation where the DOT from Kelvin could have potentially gotten the kill.
And of course we have Chris Moon rocking that DOT, the prosthetic wing, and of course the signed, the autograph picture of Lauren. So the extra damage per tick, oh wow. 3HM actually going really hard for this turret.
Well, you do have that Clunk. He does have Salvo, and it looks like Kelvin's going to be in a little bit of a bad spot right now, but gets the regen, is able to pick up the health, and juke out Mr. Pow and Rourke into that midsection.
Oh, Mr. Pow about to spend 600 solo.
600 solo on a Raylan. Look at that. Ponytail, regen, and health.
Alright, so that's to sort of... Well, that's going to be dealing with the Nibs, as well as the Genji DOT that is now going to be fairly nullified. Nullified.
Not useless, I would say, but
it's still gonna be. Yes. It is not the best upgrade late game, but it does have the early game potential.
It does. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make anything of it as Chris Moon's in a really bad spot right now. And actually, Kelvin's going to be able to pick up a kill on Rourke, and Jess is going to be looking for the kill on Mr. Power right now. That is going to be the first kill at 17 minutes and 20 seconds coming out for the Ninjas with Attitude.
You're absolutely right. Once again, I feel like I've said this before. Oh, it could be because you're right, and oh, you get your will. Snare Bite on Clunk.
Snare Bite on Clunk is a very powerful upgrade. It can secure kills, it can lock people down for escapes, and it looks like that bottom turret right now is getting attacked viciously by Jess and a few droids. But King Richard just narrowly avoids that, and Chris Moon, looking for the cheeky fire, is not able to get it.
Oh man, I feel like we're seeing the ninjas rocking back up. They're sort of getting their
They're getting their groove back. They've slowed down the momentum of the game with that kill, and the momentum that the three-headed monkeys had from that previous win on Serona, and they've kind of retaken their ground. But it seems like Kelvin's going to be taking a lot of damage right now, and Kelvin may be going down unless he can land anything. Can he land it? But no, Chris Moon is there for the escape. Kelvin is going to be able to get out with less than a half a bar of HP right there. Excellent play by Chris Moon, being able to tank that damage and really just kind of nullify a kill that could have potentially happened and swayed the direction of battle in favor of the three-headed monkeys again. But we're seeing the three-headed monkeys retake that mid control. More upgrades coming out for Jess right now. We're seeing Twisted Lance and Ice Idol So that's going to be some extra damage for the hammer as well as the binding explosion damage.
Yeah, well, we're also looking at silence for Penny. Ascension Rock.
Oh. Silence is so unbelievably powerful, especially against a comp like this, where you can easily shut down a Nibs, and that looks like Nibs Chris Moon is going to be attacking the Rourke. Rourke is going to go down, actually, and we're going to see a nice counterattack coming out here from the Ninjas with Attitude, as that bottom turret has the potential to go down as well as that top turret. Jess should just be running into that top turret right now along with Chris Moon and forgetting about their droids, and they do just that, as the split push is going to allow 2 turrets to come down at the same time, and that is going to be a 2-to-2 turret count now for both teams, Ninjas with Attitude and Three-Headed Monkeys.
We have only had 6 kills in almost 20 minutes.
Compared to the 61 kills in 40 minutes on Serona.
Yeah. I think they got the maps wrong. That must be it.
The 61 should be on Ribbit. We'd never reach 61 kills on Ribbit.
No,
I don't know, but the body count was piling up last game.
Yes, it was.
It was pretty crazy. 46
the janitor
minutes,
has a hell of a job.
61 kills. The worm, you mean?
Oh, yeah, right. The Bob.
Bob the worm has to clean up all the mess.
Yep.
But now we are on Ribbit, and what's interesting on Ribbit, actually, because a lot of people don't really look at the maps, and just right now, obviously the solar bosses are the interesting thing on Ribbit, but look at the background of Ribbit. That giant robot. Like, how many people actually notice that? And they're now hyper aware of it.
Yes, the robot. You cannot unsee the robot. It is actually a very beautiful background in general. All levels of nodes have something going on in the background. Oh, no.
And King Richard is actually going to be taking a lot of damage. King Richard is going to go down to the Coon DOT coming out from Kelvin. And it seems like Chris Moon is going to be looking for some health right now. Rourke is going to be taken down. Mr. Powell is going to be on the escape, and he does manage to escape. But that is going to be 4-4 now. We're looking at 8 kills, 20 minutes in. We've entered the late stages of this game. Both first turrets are down for both teams, and we're going to see another split push coming out as Jess and Kelvin are on the bottom lane. Chris Moon is at the top lane, and we're going to see a switch right now coming out from Mr. Powell, able to rotate around very quickly using his jumper and preventing an excess amount of damage being dealt utilizing his rift.
Alright, so now is the question. Do you think he will be building for a brawl array with HC bomb or the stall array with duration?
Well, you are the resident Raylan, so I will leave that to you. I personally think some extra AA damage could be very useful.
Well, see, I really feel like it could go both ways, but I would probably be looking at some HC bomb, sort of just to get on with the Genji, because the Genji is going to cancel out the Rift so much with his Bronco Yeast, which I hope he's getting. I really hope he's getting that. And so you sort of need some more damage.
They should actually be looking to pick up 3HM Solar Boss and lure them into that Solar Boss area for a fight. Because they're in a 3v2 situation right now. Even if they take the Solar Boss, they get the 20 Solar, but they can force a fight in there and potentially take out another team member of the Three-Headed Monkeys. And that's one thing that you really have to strategize with your team about, is if you want to lure them in for a team fight into that Solar Boss area, yes, you have the chance of forfeiting the Solar Boss and giving them the 20 Solar, but you also have the chance of picking up a kill. And that's what matters the most.
Well, yeah, the kill. It's important. Of course it is. It's a kill.
Not only does it give you solar, but it allows you additional time to deal damage to turrets.
It allows you to remove one enemy from the playing field.
Besides me and you and I stating the obvious.
Yes.
But, it creates certain situations where you're forcing pressure on the opponent to defend those top turrets or bottom turrets, wherever the push may be, and clear and fight at the same time. It looks like Rourke is actually going to be taken down right now. Jess is going to pick up the kill on Rourke there with the bindings, and this is the point where they should be taking that Solar Boss right now, and they look like they are going to be looking for the Solar Boss kill, and will pick up the Three-Headed Monkey Solar Boss, granting an additional 20 Solar. We were looking at the beginning of this map, we saw the Three-Headed Monkeys really taking that early lead, getting a 4-to-1 kill difference very early on, and we've kind of seen a change right now, as builds have more or less been imprinted into both of these teams, and we've seen a comeback in the late game from the Ninjas with Attitude.
Oh yeah, that's right. And Mr. Pow opting for the duration rift, going for the stall. If Genji gets the... Now this is an if situation, because right now it's a very feasible pick, but if he gets the Bronco Yeast, that's going to be a problem, because that's just going to be more rift countered out. And, you know, rift does a significant amount of damage. So, I mean, I think it's a risky pick, actually, to go for a duration rift with a Genji on the field. Just because of how little damage is actually going to be.
This is true, and that's why he said HC, Bob. I understand it now. But a lot of damage being dealt right now. King Rich is actually going to get picked up by Chris Moon, and that was interesting. I think it was a DOT.
It was.
And we're actually looking at the Ninjas with Attitude retaking that mid, and, you know, a 7 to 4 kill difference. Solar difference, minimal at most. Just a few upgrades. King Richard actually being... Rourke being the lowest solar in the game right now, rocking about 1900 compared to the highest member of the game, which is going to be Genji at 2650.
Oh yeah. Alright, so Penny opting for full pills now. She's tired of dying. She's not having any more of it.
And I think Ninjas with Attitude could have tanked that top turret, but they're being very careful right now. They know Rourke is back up. He can get in with that explode. We're actually seeing attack speed come out on Raylan right now as the Joe Doll upgrade, which increases attack speed by 15%.
That is actually a good pick when you're not going for HC, because then you might as well build for full turret damage.
I haven't seen many snipes actually coming out from Mr. Pow. And Jess is going to be taking a lot of damage. Rourke is going to be taking a lot of damage. Mr. Pow is going to pick up Jess, and Jess is going to pick up Rourke at the same time. Chris Moon has a lot of damage dealt on him. He's using the safety expired. Chris Moon is going to pick up King Richard, and we're now looking at Mr. Pow looking to pick up the kill on Chris Moon, but Kelvin is going to be there for the escape, allowing Chris Moon to pick up some additional health. Kelvin is now going to be hunting down Mr. Pow, and Chris Moon is going to be looking for that top turret and potentially taking it out with this push. But just decides to look for the clear, and actually Chris Moon's in a really bad spot. He used all of his teleport, he used his fire, he had no no abilities available to use at that time, and Mr. Pow took full advantage of that, tossing in that rift and securing the kill.
That was a very well placed rift. It was just enough to keep him in place, and so the droid could get him.
Looks like Rourke is going to be cooned in the midsection right there. A huge chunk of health is going to be taken off. As you said before, Misfortune Cookies on Clunk. Health reduction of 10% on a Clunk. That's quite a few bars coming off in one cocoon.
Yeah, and that's two stages. That's 20%.
Oh, you are absolutely correct. That is 2 stages. That was the 1 stage. But you can see just how much health is taken off. Clunk is just full health and brought down to half in one swift motion by Kelvin.
Yep, it is absolutely devastating. It just... High HP characters? No, sir. Alright, and shield regular, not flat damage reduction, is coming out from the Genji. You still want to see that flat damage reduction.
I have to say, Nat, I'm very surprised at how much damage is actually being taken out by Misfortune Cookies. It's so powerful.
It is. It is yours.
Now, I don't normally play a Genji, so for those Genji players out there, I really want to know if this is the best upgrade that he got for his cocoon.
I'd say that's lifesteal. That's lifesteal.
Well, he also has lifesteal on it as well. Oh. So he's also using, and Chris Moon's going to get caught in a really bad rift coming out from Mr. Pow. Excuse me, not a really bad rift, but a very good rift for Mr. Pow, a very bad rift for Chris Moon.
A bad spot to be in the rift then.
And we've seen the flow of battle change yet again as the three-headed monkeys have kind of taken control of this midsection once more.
Once again, make an incredible push.
Chris Moon is silenced. He's going to have to look for this fight. And Kelvin and Jess are looking at the other side of this right now. And Jess is going to be looking to come down right now. Kelvin is going to take a huge chunk of damage from that explode. But the Misfortune Cookies are going to take Rourke down to about a little bit less than a quarter of health. And Rourke is going to get picked up by Kelvin right now. And Kelvin and Jess are fighting down mid. King Richard landing the pulse on Jess, which is going to silence him for a few seconds and allow him for the escape. He is going to take a hammer on the way out, though.
Oh, yes. That was a very, very good defend. That is how you do it. You rush in, you flush people out, and you change the turn of battle just like that.
And we've seen another change coming out, as you said before, and this time in favor of the Ninjas with Attitude, as Jess uses the bindings, and a snipe is going to actually hit Kelvin right here. That top turret is very weak, though. They could easily take that out in one push. Jess can hit it with one hammer, it'll be taken down, but we're seeing a lot of shifts in momentum, and that's one huge thing. A lot of people don't believe momentum exists, but momentum completely exists in any competitive aspect.
Ask your physics teacher, it totally exists.
Well, I'm talking about in competitive gameplay.
I know, I am pulling your leg.
Don't pull my leg.
I'm very sorry, I'll stop immediately.
The worm pulls my leg on Sirona every single time. I have flashbacks of it every single night. I can't fall asleep.
Oh well, I'm very sorry I offended you, so well, in that case, I think we should pay attention to King Richard's now going down.
We should, but Rourke looks like he's going to get the explode off and is not going to hit anything. Mr. Pow is going to be
one
trying
hammer
to escape Jess right now. And this is the part where they really need to just focus on that top turret, really take it down, and start pushing in and getting some core damage. So
top turret is now down.
Chris Moon does manage to take it out, and now it looks like Mr. Pow is going to be in a little bit of a CD situation, battling it out with Chris Moon. Drops the rift, goes back to grab some health.
And that is how you defensive rift, especially with duration. He is still waiting
that
for
bottom turret is actually going to come down now as Kelvin, with his push with his droids, will take out that bottom turret.
Oh, the fire coming and actually doing a little bit of pokey damage.
And King Richard is going to get hit by that cocoon, get brought down to half HP. 20% health reduction. So much health. God! As Kelvin is going to get pulsed right now, and Mr. Powell is going to get cooned right now, but Rourke should be looking for this explode at any given time right now. And Rourke is going to have a lot of damage taking down. Jess is going to get the double kill.
We get the wipeout. The wipeout real? No,
And
but that is going to be... That's going to be 3 people attacking.
No, but King Richard is actually going to land a nice pulse. He may be able to pick up.
Oh no! And that's
the body
the wipe.
marks from Kelvin.
That's the wipe.
That is going to be a wipe. That has to be the game.
There's no way. No.
No.
No. Even if they left, that would be game.
That was.
Oh man.
We saw a lot of shifts coming out in that game where Three-Headed Monkeys retook control, started with their push, and then we saw the Ninjas with Attitude come back and just attack viciously. Misfortune Cookies just... I honestly think that Genji and Kelvin playing as Genji was a major component of a victory in that match.
I totally agree. The Genji did so much to actually keep the clunk out, to sort of, make sure the rift was not as threatening as it was. However, I was still missing the flat damage reduction error.
The flat damage reduction, obviously it was missing, but they made do.
They did.
I do have to give it up to the Three-Headed Monkeys, though. There were times in that match where they were easily able to collapse on Jess and Kelvin. And a lot of times, I feel that they didn't focus Chris Moon as much as they should have, due to him being a Nibs and being so agile. And Nibs being obviously agile in itself is very hard to kind of counteract, but if you can work around that and pick up a kill on Nibs, that takes out a lot of their DPS. And
that's true.
I think if we're going to see Chris Moon playing Nibs in Game 3, Three-Headed Monkeys really need to focus on taking out Chris Moon above all.
Yep. I don't know if they can get that ban in, but let's see. We'll figure out in that match. But before we go, for the break. Pause. Do we do
Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do another Twitch chat giveaway, so keep an eye on that Twitch chat. One of the mods will be giving you instructions, so just keep an eye out on that, and you will have a chance to win yourself a Mr. Robo Scoop himself. That being said, we will be right back with Game 3 of the finals of the European Qualifier number 4 of the Alienware Awesome Cup 2.